Hello everybody, for this week's video I think it's only appropriate to celebrate the grade 12s because this is grade 12's last week in school. They're graduating on Friday and they have had probably the most unusual experience of any grade 12s I've seen graduate, because when they came into the college, of course, they were in lockdown. So they experienced a lot of their work online, and I'm just going to talk to some students about their experience of diploma in lockdown and also some of the earliest memories. So I think we should let's start with diploma in lockdown. Sasha, Rohit, would one of you like to tell us a little bit about what it was like and maybe some of the good sides, but also some of the things that were different and hard for somebody who's doing the last 2 years of diploma? Right.
Yeah, obviously it started with lockdown quite early on in grade 11, so we didn't have time to settle into grade 11 like other year groups did, but it was set up quite efficiently and quite quickly after the Christmas break. So I felt like that was very efficient from ISL, which really helped us ease into the whole online learning process. Also the teachers were very, very helpful and useful to us as well, with their constant online support in helping us, learn some difficult topics. However, obviously it's not as good as face-to-face teaching. So I feel like with some of the tougher subjects like maths or economics, it was quite hard to grasp some topics. But yeah, overall for me it was quite an alright experience.
Yeah, it's quite mixed. We know, and there's lots of research that shows that actually to go through, especially the last 2 years of school online, is hard because you're preparing for an exam. The exams have had to change. Students have had different IB exams from other students before them because the exam boards have had to take into account the challenges of online learning. Even though it's true, as was said, that we got everything organised very quickly and we're actually given very good press for all the work we did on online learning and international level. Even ECIS recognised the work we did. It's still really hard. Sasha, some of your experiences of DP and online learning, do you find it hard?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges with online learning from the beginning, grade 11, is that with the DP you face a new amount of workload that you've never had to face before, and then being at a home environment online, your work ethic isn't as strong as it would be within a school environment, so it can be quite challenging to overcome the new amounts of work you have and have to juggle that.
And how did you feel both at the end? Did you come out all right? Would the exams go okay? Did they seem, with everything and all the online things, did that side of it? How was it? Rohit?
Yeah, I felt like the exams were decent, but we'll find out on results day.
Yeah. Sasha?
Yeah, it went better than expected for most cases, but I don't think there's no need to stress about it until the results come out.
Yeah, very true. And very wise. And just to finish, what about some of your kind of memories of ISL like that you have from Sasha? You've been here, well, you're one of the students who've been here longest. You've been here from kindergarten. Mm-hmm. What are some of your, say, 1 or 2 memories of your time at ISL?
Well, to be honest, I still actually remember my first day at ISL. I came in to the massive hall at the NYP from like a little EC school in America, and saw amount of people I've never seen before, and I went crying, running outside crying until
who came? What's the name of? You said someone came out. Who was it who came out?
Toyota.
Oh, Toyota came out.
Yeah, the Japanese boy. First time I've ever seen someone from Asian ethnicity came out and comforted me, and he actually became my best friend for 3 years, and I think that quite represents ISL quite nicely with the amount of ethnicities and religions we have here.
Yeah, it's a nice story. Rohit, any stories that jump out?
Yeah, I first came in grade 8 in ISL. I came from like a British school, so it was quite a stark difference with ISL.
What was the biggest differences?
It was the amount of different cultures and ethnicities in college, in the school, sorry, and then just how how like appreciative other people were of your differences, and just how accepting they were. It was quite nice for me to look at that. I remember in grade 8 I did not want to go in the residential trip because I was just a shy little boy, but then I went in the residential trip and I made a lot of friends, and then I came out feeling better.
And one thing that you also, both of you mentioned in the video building up, is that despite having the most unusual and in some ways challenging IB programme of anyone who's been here, that at the end you all came together at Thorpe Park, and that was really fun. Just tell us a little bit about the Thorpe Park trip.
We didn't have our grade 11 residential, obviously because of COVID. So after our mocks, the teachers decided to organise a nice little fun trip for a day to Thorpe Park, and yeah, it was just a fun day out with just everyone in the grade, and I felt like that really brought us together as a grade, which we were split up before due to COVID-19, lockdown and everything. So I felt like it was quite a nice experience, yeah.
Okay, well that's great. Well, good luck, both of you, for the results, and on Friday for graduation. We have graduation on Friday. So I know with Alex, tell us about your experience of going online, things that worked well and things that were maybe different because it was such a challenging time.
Yeah, well, for me, we went online at the end of grade 10 and throughout grade 11 in the DP. At the start, it was difficult to get used to it because we hadn't been exposed to this environment before. But we knew that it's just because the teacher cannot see us, we could not bother as much. But we had to stay focused and keep learning, even though it's from online, because the school did the best it did by using Teams. So yeah, we had to stay focused and be very academic and keep working towards our end goal, which is finishing our IB diploma with the best grades possible. And during grade 11, which is individually a very challenging year because it's different to the MYP years, we had to stay extra focused in order to be as have gained the most knowledge as possible.
Was it really nice coming back when you actually got to come back to college?
Yeah, it felt weird because before that we didn't have to wear masks at all, but then all the government rules came into place that there was social distancing and we had to wear masks and everything like that, which at first felt weird, but then we all got used to it. But I think I speak for the whole class that we prefer, in terms of learning, to be in face-to-face classes. I think it's better in terms of gaining knowledge.
Yeah, I'm sure. And when you look back at all your time at ISL, because you've been here quite a long time, how long have you been here? You started
9 years.
9 years.
Yeah.
So you're one who's been here the longest, Alex.
Yeah.
When you look back, what are the things that you look back on fondly and memory-wise?
Well, I look back on my first year here where I knew almost zero English, very little, just the basics, but how
because you spoke Greek's your mother tongue, isn't it?
Yes. How my level of English evolved with all the lessons I had in school, but how welcoming ISL was on my first years because I had never lived in another country and been with different cultures, just the Greek culture, but they welcomed me with open arms and I felt like it was a family to me, and yeah, I really enjoyed it.
So when you came, did you speak hardly any English at all?
Just the basics.
Wow, okay. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
All right, well thank you very much, Alex.
Thank you very much.
I have with me today Margarita and Victoria, who are going to talk about some of their experiences. And before we start, it's worth remembering that they've had probably the most different experience in terms of doing the IB diploma from any students that have come through ISL before, because actually they both joined in grade 10 and they went pretty much into lockdown pretty early on in grade 10 and then for a lot of grade 11, so they only had one full year in the diploma college, which is this year, which is quite it's the most unusual experience of any students who've been here. So they're going to say a little bit about their experiences at ISL and what they remember. And maybe we can start, if you want to say a little bit about going online, what the experience was like, because it's quite unique, really.
I mean, for me, obviously, because lockdown happened so quickly after I first joined, it was a bit nerve-wracking to have to, I have all these new friends and I'm so excited, and then all of a sudden it's, okay, now you're isolating for a few months.
Because you two only just arrived.
Yeah.
So you hardly got to know anyone.
Yeah, exactly. But I think we did get some nice moments in the beginning. But I think for me the hardest thing in lockdown was to honestly have the motivation to listen, because although the way that it was done on Teams, it was really good and I think it was really efficient, it was still so hard to stay in one room and do all these classes. And then again, when it followed onto grade 11, when things got a bit more difficult, it was, it was hard to stay organized and stay motivated. And yeah, definitely once we got back into school, it was much nicer, I think.
Yeah, I have to say that at the beginning I was very looking forward to have online classes, because I've never had that before. And I thought, okay, that must be pretty cool to be at home and have online classes, listen to the teacher. But after, I think we had it for 3 months, online lessons. But after 2 months, it was, as Margarita said, really nerve-wracking, sitting in that room for so many hours. And so my motivation changed over time, I have to say. But at the beginning, I thought it was pretty cool. But now I'm glad that we're back in school and have face-to-face classes and face-to-face interactions with the teacher and with other students.
Was it nice coming back?
Yeah,
for
it
sure.
was nice. Yeah,
but because also college is a bit of a special experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it feels a bit like it feels like a big house.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of it is a big house. So it has that kind of homely feel, right? So it must have been.
Yeah, it's so nice. And also, I remember when we first got back from lockdown, it was really weird because you weren't allowed to be close to anyone, and it's small, right? And so we were all very separate. We had to wear masks. There was a one-way system, and so it still didn't feel like it was completely back to normal. But so it took a while to settle into the new guidelines. Then slowly, obviously, they lifted and.
Yeah, because even when you came back, we had all the protocols in place for COVID, so you had to be socially distanced, etc. So that wasn't a very normal college experience.
Yeah.
When you look back at ISL, what are the kind of experiences that you remember as standing out as being?
I think the experience to get to know people from different backgrounds. This was not everyone gets this experience, getting to know different cultures. And to be honest, at the beginning I was a bit struggling because of my English. My English was not perfect at the beginning, but I'm glad that I had a German friend who showed me around in school. Yeah, and then I started to get used to everything, and that's when I started liking the school more and more. And yeah, it was a really great experience. Then we went on a residential week or days, which was also pretty cool. We did some great things. I think kayaking, was it?
Yeah.
We went to the beach and everything. It was pretty cool, and we had the chance, for us especially because we were new, we had the chance to get to know the other people in our class and interacting with them and playing games with them, activities and everything. So it was really cool.
Yeah, and actually, one thing that we've really realised as a result of lockdown is how important that residential week is, because that's when you get to know everyone, and that's real team building, isn't it? And you never had a grade 11 one because of COVID. What about you, Margarita?
I think for me it's not one specific moment, but it's honestly the support I've received, because obviously I've gone to international schools my whole life in a few different countries, but when I moved to London, I moved here without my parents to stay with my sister, and I was struggling a lot with, getting organized and balancing how to, take care of my house, doing things that a teenager shouldn't really be doing. And I've received so much support from the school and my friends, and it's really nice to be able to, you know, come to school and have it feel like a second home when things at home aren't going as well, you know.
That's really
And
good.
yeah, and I think for me the most important place was the art room, because it was, you know, it was really nice to just let everything go, not have to worry too much about writing essays or deadlines or whatever, and I can just calm down and be with, you know, share thoughts and yeah.
And I would say that art exhibition this year was really impressive.
Mm.
And you
Thank you.
enjoyed it, I know.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Yeah, I had a bit of a difficult time because I got COVID right when we had to set it up.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, and
yes,
I
you
had
had to
to-
come in on your own, didn't you?
Yeah, and I had to
remember
come in. I
all
felt
that.
like a criminal because it was just when the rules had lifted. But obviously, the school, I couldn't come there when everybody was in school because it was in the MIP, and so I had to come after school hours by myself with a mask, and I just had to set everything up. But I did it in the end, and I'm glad I got the chance to. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. No, it was great, and your work was great. And,
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's good that you managed to do it even with COVID.
Yeah. I was so tired, but I was like, no, I need to get this done. I've been working for 2 years to get to this point. But yeah, it was really, really fun. I really enjoyed it, yeah.
Well, that's great. So there you go, everybody. You've got a sense of the grade 12 experience and what the grade 12s have been through, which, as we said at the beginning, is a pretty unique experience. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.